Hello, this is Charlie from Tropical Birding and welcome to this video trip report from my recent Morocco birding tour. This is the Northern Bald Ibis, one of the star birds of the tour. More about that later on. Let's start by looking at the Tropical Birding website and the Morocco page. Here you've got some important information. There's the name of the tour, North African Birding in a Nutshell. Here you can check out some information. There's the tour dates for next year, the price, length of the tour, physical difficulty, so do check that out. Let's now look at a map of the region, see where we're talking about. Morocco is in the northwestern part of Africa, quite close to Europe. So it's quite a bit of overlap with Europe, but there are quite a few special birds endemic to northwestern Africa. The tour starts in the city of Marrakesh. This is a picture taken from the plane on the way in. It's quite flat, dry scenery. You can see at the back there's a range of mountains called the Atlas Mountains. Absolutely spectacular. I came a few days early to check out some places and I stayed at this really nice place. It's called a Kasbah, very Moroccan style accommodation. And it even had a cool bird inside, the house bunting, totally adapted to living with people. And this was overlooking the Ourika Valley, which is one of the places we visit during the tour. The tour itself, however, starts in the city of Marrakesh in a very modern hotel near the airport. There's a few common birds can be seen around Marrakesh. This is one of them, the Maghreb magpie, split recently from the Eurasian magpie. It's got this beautiful blue patch on the side of its face. From Marrakesh, we drove south a little bit to the town of Ourika. The Ourika Valley is where we start our birding. This is what it looks like on the ground. There's a lot of olive plantations there, mixed cultivation. It's got a lot of cool birds. As you get up a little bit higher, it gets a bit drier and steeper sided valleys. This was one of our first birding stops. A few of the birds have been split recently from their Western European counterparts. Things like the African chaffinch, the African blue tit. This is just a regular great tit, but a lot of the birds are different subspecies that may well be split in the future. Other familiar faces like the European robin. This looks very much like a European green woodpecker, but it's actually called Levaillant green woodpecker. It's a Northwest African endemic and a big target of the tour. Here we can see going up the valley a bit higher, scenically very beautiful place. Saw some other great birds here. I got a red crossbill, another bird that is likely to be split up in the future. Some other European birds like the European serin. This is a more typical North African bird called the Musia's redstart, very beautiful. You get the occasional raptor, like these Bonelli's eagles. And higher up, we birded forest there, a coniferous forest, and we had our first common firecrest. This is a short-toed tree creeper, and we got a really nice view of some missel thrushes as well. So we go up the Ourika Valley to a place called Oukaimeden, very high elevation, 2,600 meters. And it's actually a ski resort, can you believe it? This is what it looked like on the ground, still some snow on the ground. The first time I visited, a week later, a lot of it had melted. But yeah, you may get a bit of snow, so you need a warm jacket. And just lovely mountain scenery, just a dusting of snow everywhere you look, and some pretty special birds. This is one of the special birds that we saw, the red-billed chough, and we also got yellow-billed choughs. Some other cool birds, the rock sparrow, black redstarts, pretty common. This is a horned lark, but a distinctive subspecies from the Atlas Mountains. Good chance to be split in the future. And this is another one that was split recently, called the Atlas wheatear. Differs from the northern wheatear, which it was split from by its black throat. So one of the big targets here was a bird called the crimson-winged finch. I looked for it quite hard and couldn't find it on my recce. And then I met this guy who sells walnuts. And he breaks open a few walnuts and he feeds the crimson-winged finches. Here he is with his walnuts down there. Beautiful bird, kind of chunky finch, beautiful pink colour in their wing and a thick yellow bill. And here you can see them hopping around, eating the walnuts. To thank the guy, we all bought some walnuts off him and a few souvenirs and rocks and things. But yeah, that was a really good start to the tour. We stayed at a really nice place, just down from Oukaimeden. Just lovely food. Yeah, the food in general in Morocco is absolutely fantastic. There's a dish called the tagine, which can be vegetarian or meat, cooked in just delicious spices. Lots of really nice vegetables, salads, meat. Yeah, we ate really well. One of the reasons we stayed at the hotel we did was because there was some resident Maghreb owls. This was split recently from the tawny owl. And there was a resident pair just next to the hotel, and so we saw them really easily. And here it is, just an absolutely fantastic start to the tour. I'll put the sound on for you. Can you hear it? The next morning we did a bit of birding around the lodge. Really good birding there. We added searle bunting. The next day we crossed the Atlas Mountains at a mountain pass called Tizi and Tichka. On the way we saw some cool birds, including a short-toed snake eagle by the side of the road. And on my recce as well, I found a day-roosting Maghreb owl, which was pretty cool. From here, we had a long drive down to the city of Boumalne out in the desert, in this sort of this valley. And here we met up with a local guide called Hassan. Really talented guy, super nice guy. Got some pretty cool birds staked out for us. But before he showed us the birds, he showed us a little stakeout for a desert horned viper. Don't worry, it's tiny, and we were standing back quite at a safe distance, but fascinating snake, really beautiful. This was the main bird that he showed us, which is called the Pharaoh eagle owl, which was split from the Eurasian eagle owl, and he had a nest staked out. Really, really valuable local information. He also showed us the morning wheatear, the Maghreb subspecies, another possible split in the future. And another one was a very cool lark called the thick-billed lark, one of the really spectacular lark species on this tour. And he actually had a nest staked out. Here you can see a bird coming in with some food in its mouth, and I think we're going to see it feeding its chicks here. Check that out. Yeah. Imagine staking out a lark nest. Just incredible. But this was a real highlight of the tour. Really, really cool. This is the place we stayed in, Boumalne Ibis. Really spectacular view from there. Beautiful stars at night. Just a really lovely place to stay. And at night, more great food. Another delicious tagine. This one is called Berber omelette, cooked with onions and tomatoes and olives. Yeah, they do some really... All of it served with a very nice bread, local bread. The next morning, we started off near the town dump and saw our first target, which was the red-rumped wheatear, which we saw really well. A lot of wheatears here in the desert. Also had a desert wheatear. Just went a short distance to a place called the Tagilt Trek. Very, very famous birding location in Morocco. This is what it looks like. It's a sort of gravelly desert. Looks pretty barren, but it's got some very cool birds. Some mammals as well. This is called the fat sand rat. This was one of our big targets for the morning. Was a cream-coloured courser. Very well camouflaged, but yeah, we had great views. A lot of cool larks in the desert here. This is quite a cool one called the Temminck's lark. Very similar to the horned lark that we saw before. Another big target for the tour was the greater hoopoe lark, and we had our first one here. We also saw it doing its flight display and call. It flies up really steeply and then comes just shooting down almost vertically. Managed to get a photo of it. Looks like it's going to hit the ground. From the Tagilt Trek, we continued east towards the town of Merzouga and a hotel right on the edge of the desert. It was just absolutely stunning. Saw some cool birds there. Brown-necked raven right on the sand dunes. It'd actually been quite a wet year last year, and there was still water. There was almost like a lagoon there. And we saw some cool water birds, including purple heron, which is quite rare for that area. We had migrating white storks going by. Just wonderful scenes. Look at that. Some of the clients also opted to take a short camel ride, which is an option. Gives you some good photo ops. This is another shot outside of the hotel that we were staying. The hotel itself, Hotel Yasmina, was just absolutely stunning. I mean, it's like a castle built in the desert. And everything they do is just beautiful. I like the tiling there and all the gardens. Just a really wonderful place. All lit up at night. This is my bedroom. It feels like a sort of under the sea theme. And then out on the deck there, looking over the Sahara Desert. I mean, it was just an awesome location. The next morning, we did a desert tour with a local guide, and the first stop was at a small waterhole in the desert that was visited by 3 species of sandgrouse. Absolutely incredible. It was set up by a local bird guide, and it was a leaky pipe. They put a hole in a pipe here, you see the pipe there, and it made a little puddle. And the birds figure this out, and they come in, they're just dozens and dozens. This is the commonest one, called the spotted sandgrouse. Here's some more of them, I think, just as they were about to leave. You see them flying off. Wait for it. There they go. This is a slightly different one. It's got black on the face there. This is a crown sandgrouse. And we were very lucky to find also the pin-tailed sandgrouse, which doesn't come all the time. Just gorgeous, like gold on the back and a white belly. Just really one of my favorite birds. From there, we went further into the desert. We saw some more cool larks. This is the bar-tailed lark. We had the white-crowned wheatear. This was, again, the greater hoopoe lark, which showed really well. We saw quite a few of them. Next, we went to look for the desert sparrow, which in recent years has been getting quite rare, but the local guide had a good stakeout for it. We had a flyover of a booted eagle there, and some trumpeter finches nearby. This is the next place we visited, very kind of barren landscape with these low, dry bushes. And this is where we looked for and found the African desert warbler. It seemed to have a nest hidden inside one of the bushes, so it was carrying food. The next, just check this out. See this dry bush here? Can you see anything yet? Check that out. There's a nightjar. Yeah, the Egyptian nightjar. I mean, we have a local guy that stakes these out for us. This is the client's taking some pictures. And these are our local guides on the left, and the Egyptian nightjar guy on the right. All Berbers like a sort of tribe, native tribe to Morocco, very proud people. They wear these like cloths around their head. I also bought a cloth, which I didn't look quite as good in, but they helped me tie it up in a sort of turban, so that was quite fun. There's a bird called the crested lark in Morocco. It's very common, but in this area they have very, very long bills, and this is another potential split as the Maghreb lark. And these kind of palm trees here, it's a habitat for another bird that we found called the fulvous chatterer, kind of babbler. For lunch, we went to a local shop where we took a look at some rocks and fossils and stuff run by the owner, and he made us lunch, which he called the Berber pizza. It's a sort of, it's like a flatbread, but it's filled with stuff, either with meat or with vegetables, and it was absolutely delicious. Really, really nice. Next, our local guide took us to a spot he knew some blue-cheeked bee-eaters had turned up, and we got really nice views of those. Beautiful birds, migrants. And then finally, we went to a lake that had hundreds of flamingos there, storks, ruddy shell ducks, shorebirds. So yeah, we were able to build our trip list a little bit. Just gorgeous. Check that out. And this is our local guide, Hassan. Another Hassan. There was a driver, Hassan, this guy Hassan. The other local guide was called Hassan. It seems to be quite a common name there. Both of us having somewhat of a bad hair day there. The next morning, we had a little poke around the bushes outside the hotel and found a few warblers there. We timed this tour to coincide with the migration. And so you never know quite what's going to show up. This is a western subalpine warbler hopping around in the trees. From Merzouga, we had a long drive. We drove all the way back west to a town called Ouarzazate. We did some birding on the way, stopped at some wadis or wed, these kind of dry riverbeds with some trees nearby that are kind of migrant traps. Some of the birds that we saw, this is the western Bernelli's warbler, spectacle warbler, eastern olivaceous warbler. You see they're all kind of earthy colours, not colourful like the North American warblers, but very charming in their own right. Other birds like the woodchat shrike and the great grey shrike. This is the western subalpine warbler. We tried to get to Ouarzazate in time for some afternoon birding, and we visited a place with some sort of mixed agriculture, and it was full of birds. And it was in a very sort of fertile, irrigated valley, and it was a real magnet to a lot of birds. Here we saw ruddy shelducks, European bee-eaters, western yellow wagtail, corn bunting, Spanish sparrow. We even had a little owl. In Ouarzazate, we stayed in a beautiful hotel called the Berber Palace, and the stars at night were just absolutely stunning. Again, more wonderful food. This is a vegetarian couscous dish. The rooms were absolutely beautiful. The next morning, we started our long drive to the coast, and we stopped at a river where we saw some pretty cool birds, including this cool water rail. Also had little bittern, black storks. Later in the drive, we found this common chameleon. This is the drive from Ouarzazate all the way to Agadir on the coast. Very long drive. And we tried to arrive in time to bird Sous, the Sous River estuary, which was just full of birds. I mean, like off the charts. Some of the birds we saw, ospreys, a lot of gulls and terns and stuff. This is a young slender-billed gull, one of 6 gull species that we saw. And another big target for the trip, the Audouin's gull. Yeah, one of the rarest gulls in the world. Plenty of other nice birds around there. We got more great views of Maghreb magpie. The next day, we went south of Agadir to the Sous Massa National Park. We started our birding in the morning at a bridge over a river. One of the targets there was a black-crowned chagra. And here you can see it hopping around on the ground. Yeah, in global terms, not a very rare bird. It goes all the way down to South Africa, but in Morocco, it's quite a special bird. On the river itself, we saw several Eurasian spoonbills. And this was the main target of the day, was the Northern Bald Ibis. I showed you the photo at the beginning. It's probably the star bird of the trip. Was really on the edge of extinction before, and now numbers have come back up a little bit in Morocco. But it's probably the best place in the world to see it. And we had great flybys. We got some on the ground as well. But really, really special bird, and we got great views. Some other cool birds we saw in that area, Eurasian thickney, or stone curlew, as it's also called. This restaurant that we went to, they had like birds painted on the walls as well. They had the Northern Bald Ibis here. And a really nice dessert. This is like a couscous with a sweet peanut sauce. Oh, so good. One of the restaurants we stopped at lunch had like a balcony, and we were looking over it, and we saw this Eurasian kestrel looking at us. In the afternoon, we went back into the Sous Massa National Park. Yeah, we walked along the side of this river, and we saw a lot of cool birds, European stonejets. This was another big one, the Barbary partridge, and we had really good views. More nice warblers, Sardinian warbler. And on the last day, on the way back to Marrakesh, we stopped at this restaurant that specialized in tagines, and it was just delicious. Oh, I could eat these every day. And another Berber omelette. Often finish meals with mint tea, very traditional Moroccan drink. We said a sad goodbye to our driver for this tour, another guy called Hassan, very sweet guy, really enjoyed his company. he found us a lot of good birds and was always, always very, very pleasant and hardworking. So yeah, that was great. He dropped us off at the airport in Marrakesh. Very cool looking building. And that was the end of the trip. Let's have a quick look at the eBird trip report. I actually did 2 tours back to back. These were a sort of compilation of both tours. Both tours together, I got 186 species. Each one was a little bit less. It may have been 170 something, but that's around your ballpark figure. As you see, I photographed 131 species out of that, so it's quite good for photography, even on a birding tour. Good photographic opportunities. Other than birds, a lot of other cool stuff. Some nice reptiles. There's that desert horn viper I talked about. Some cool reptiles, a few mammals, some interesting plants, desert plants and stuff. So yeah, a lot of cool things to see. Great scenery, amazing food. Oh, so good. And everybody really had a great trip. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this run through. And yeah, I would love to see you on a trip to Morocco with us one day. Thanks for watching. All the best. Take care.